Noting they were slums that were supposed to convey dual transportation, he lamented the takeover of the area by hoodlums. Ahmad said the hoodlums constitute nuisances not only to the neighborhood but to the entire city. He also noted that those arrested with hard drugs and other substances during the raid would be handed over to the police. And now let's quickly take a short break. When we return, it will be news from other parts of West Africa. To be precise, that'll be Gambia starting off. Don't go away. Always a delight to have you back. This is Africa Today on Hills TV. The government in Gambia announced on Wednesday that they have failed an attempted military coup. According to the statement released by the authorities, 4 soldiers who tried to overthrow President Adama Barrow's government had been arrested. The situation is now totally under control, according to the statements that added the army was trying to locate another 3 accomplices involved in the attempted coup. No independent confirmation was obtained from any source other than the government statement. Meanwhile, some reports mention soldiers moving around the presidential headquarters in the capital, Banjul. And now to Gambia, a Gambian parliamentary committee recommended that the committee accuses the company of exporting contaminated products to the country. Amadou Kamara, chairperson of the Select Committee on Health, said he received several evidence from several stakeholders, both in the public and private sectors, including parents of the victims of acute kidney injury. The Select Committee concludes that all the cases of acute kidney injury are linked to consumption of contaminated medical products imported by the Indian pharma company. He also stated that the actual cause of death of the children is still under scientific investigations, as casual tests are currently being undertaken by the Minister of Health and partners. Gambia has already recalled all cough and cold syrups in circulation in the country, as well as all pharmaceutical products manufactured. Glad to have you back, and thank you for staying with us. Talking more stories, there was anger and disappointment in Goma in DR Congo on Wednesday after the United Nations Security Council voted unanimously to extend the UN peacekeeping mission in Congo, known as MONUSCO. They were roaming the country's east, and they were not being protected. Peacekeepers were also accused of retaliating against demonstrators, sometimes with force. Kasaraka Alutani and his 2 brothers remember their march against MONUSCO in July 2022, saying the renewal of the mandate is like renewing the pain they felt while some are still in prison. However, the government called for a review of the transition plan for MONUSCO, and Foreign Minister Christophe Lutundala later mentioned 2024 as the globally adjourned more than 100 times. The former head of Cameroon's public broadcaster has been sentenced to 12 years in prison. Having you know that the defense minister Hassan Mohamed Ahmadanbey has been announced the return of the first batch of 5,000 Somali troops sent to train in Eritrea. It is during outside the Ministry of Information in Mogadishu that the minister gave more details. The training of the soldiers was due to end last year, but their return was delayed. The Al-Shabaab forced out of the country in the last 6 months. More territories were liberated from the group in some regions of the country. Even though President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud visited the troops in Eritrea last July, their return is set to end months of worry among families who feared they might have been recruited under false pretense. And now let's take this short break, get on to business. Maritime sector under the aegis of Seasports Terminal Operators of Nigeria have said that 2006 ports concession has saved Nigeria $16 billion in 16 years. The chairman of the STOAN, Vicky Astrop, said this recently while speaking at an event in Lagos. Astrop, who was represented at the event by the spokesperson of STOAN, Bolaji Akiola, said that the amount translates to $100 million annually. According to Astrop, the exercise has been a huge success and brought tremendous improvements to the country's port system. She said the port's concession program has reduced the time waited by vessels coming into the port from an average of 45 days before 2006 to 3 days currently. She mentioned other benefits, which include the injection of private capital into ports development, freeing up government resources for other developmental purposes, elimination of ports congestion, modernization of the ports, and improved availability of cargo handling equipment. And now to yet another story. Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, that is the NPA, Mohammed Bello Koko, has charged stakeholders to take the shipping business beyond handling and explore opportunities on bunkering, insurance, hinterland connectivity, and other services to make Nigeria more competitive and most cost-effective. Bello Koko, who was represented by the General Manager, Corporate and Strategic Communication, Oluyemisi Oyinola, stressed that the low utilization of opportunities offered by both downstream and upstream operations in maritime are reasons the sector has contributed substantially to the economy. He stated that to reposition the nation's ports for competitiveness, NPA has embarked on certain initiatives to facilitate trade through the sea, such as the ongoing rehabilitation of port access roads to improve hinterland connectivity and rail linkage to Lagos Ports Complex. He further disclosed that there are plans to kick-start the process of establishing ports community systems, that is the PCS, with the support of the government through the Federal Ministry of Transportation and Technical Advisory of the International Maritime Organization, that is the IMO. Still to come in Africa Today is sports. Stay with us.
Good afternoon and welcome to Sports News on Africa Today. I am Aidnan Lubem. Now to sports news. The Super Eagles of Nigeria dropped 3 places in the latest monthly ranking released by the Federation of International Football Association, that is FIFA, on Thursday. The ranking was released on the official website of the World Soccer governing body on Thursday today. The 3-time African champions dropped from 32nd to 35th position in the world. Jose Pesero's side, although maintained their position among the top 5 teams in Africa, they however slipped from 4th to 5th position. The Alliance of Morocco moved to top position on the ranking in Africa following their impressive performance at the just concluded 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The Teranga Lions of Senegal dropped to 2nd position on the continent, with Tunisia remaining in 3rd position, while the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon jumped to 4th position. The president of the Confederation of African Football, that is CAF, is optimistic about the future. Speaking on Wednesday, Patrice Motsepe reflected on the achievements of African teams in Qatar and in Morocco in particular.
Indeed, proud moments and a proud period for football on the African continent, taking into account the performance of all of our 5 national teams that were representing Africa at the FIFA World Cup, Qatar, and in particular the historic achievements of Morocco that has made all of us exceptionally proud.
According to him, taking into account the performances of all the 5 national teams that were representing Africa at the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and in particular the historic achievements of Morocco, have made all Africans exceptionally proud. Recall that in Qatar, Morocco broke new ground by reaching the semi-finals. Senegal and Tunisia also performed well. The president of the African Football Body believes it's fundamental to continue to encourage the development of local. Apologies for the break-in transmission, and now to other sporting stories. Gor Pirates lost their Class A State Championship game against the Fairvale Yellow Jackets on Edmond in a heartbreaking 28-32 defeat at Charles Richardson Stadium in Edmond. The Pirates, who were expecting a win, were defeated by the Yellow Jackets even after playing with a great heart and determination throughout the game. Even with their loss, Gor Pirates head coach Brandon Tyler had to appreciate the great effort and teamwork his players showed throughout the season. He said he was proud of their accomplishment of playing in the championship game and was proud of the way they represented themselves and their community. Yellow Jackets started the game with strong offensive play, and it was a wake-up call for the Gor Pirates. This showed that the title game would be a tough fight for both teams. At the end of the opening kick, the Pirates had successfully scored a 3-0 lead. At the end of the game, and after conceding a heartbreaking defeat, the Pirates were still able to celebrate the fact that they had put up a good fight. And that's your sport news on Africa Today. Back to Uduak Daniel for the rest of the news. I am Aidnan Lubem.
An explosive one right there. Boss Ainan Lubem for that one on sports. And talking more stories, the National Youth Service Corps, that is the NYSC, on Thursday warned Corps members to desist from using social media for ethnic jingoism, rumor peddling, and the promotion of hatred in the country. It advised the Corps members to use their activities online as a means of promoting unity, peace, and national development. The Acting Director General NYSC, Christy Uba, stated this at the closing ceremony of the Batch C Stream 2 orientation course, which was held at McGregor College, Afikpo.